Hello again, everyone. Lovely to see you. How are we all this evening? Doing okay? Yeah, nice. Got a lovely evening for you tonight. Very, very lucky people. We've got some wonderful speakers. Barbara has returned again this evening to talk about CRMs and marketing systems.
Yeah.
Yep. We've got the wonderful Steve Roberts from One IT, who's going to be having a wee chat to you about cybersecurity. One IT take care of the cybersecurity for Business Enterprise Centre. And I have to say the team are awesome. So I know from having listened to Steve previously, he's going to give you some good pointers for sure. We have the wonderful Ali Dhirani, who's joining us to talk to you about accounting software, which you should be getting right from the start. And we have Jimmy, who's going to beam in online from the ATO directly to talk to you about e-invoicing. Which kind of ties in with a little bit with everything tonight. So it's a much more secure way to send your invoices. Jimmy's going to discuss the ins and outs of that. And I'm sure you'll hear from Steve too how important it is to keep that invoicing secure. So that's the evening. This evening, I'll be beginning by telling you about digital solutions. Now, I promised you the last day that I would be revealing this evening how you can get free access to digital solutions. So that's what I'll do now. So Digital Solutions is a programme which is funded by the Australian government. And I'll reveal to you now what that covers. But basically, the aim is to improve the digital capability of small businesses. What's really important is having good productivity tools, being able to project yourself out into the market is essential for your profitability, 100%, and your competitiveness again. So it's a lovely program. So it provides education and advice in 5 main areas. So the basics, how to digitize your business. On that note, Justine has recently taken part in that, and we were looking at digitizing her business. We spent a couple of hours over the last couple of weeks setting up the basic software that she needs to run her business properly, and she's also going to enjoy some Xero training as well through part of that program, which is phenomenal. Using small business software, which we're going to speak about tonight. Barbara is going to introduce you, as well as Ali, to some lovely software packages which are going to improve your productivity and help you with your marketing. Online security and data privacy. Again, we're going to be speaking about that tonight with Steve. Delves into websites and online selling. Now people just think sometimes of e-commerce, a store to sell products, but that might be distributing your documentaries. That might be selling digital products as well as physical products as well. And then, of course, social media and digital marketing, which we discussed last night. So those are the 5 main topics, but within that, it goes into a lot more depth. It's open to any business with up to 20 full-time employees, so that's everyone in this room. All you need to do is have an active ABN. So I know that the majority of people have already registered their business, but as soon as you do, if you haven't done already, you'll be able to access the program. So what's on offer? Lots and lots of free workshops. So within those 5 categories, there are multiple workshops. You'll be able to access around about 100, 120 free workshops every year on this program. So it goes right into depth in those 5 categories. It might be about selling on Amazon. It might be about setting up a Squarespace website, understanding search engine optimization, which a term we've heard a few times in the last couple of weeks. It really lets you understand the basics of these things and then drill down even further. So Business Enterprise Centre, we have 2 to 3 workshops every month. Some are face-to-face here in Darwin, others are face-to-face in Alice Springs, but we also run them online. In addition, we are delivery partners with 2 organisations, one in Western Australia and the other one in Queensland. They have bigger populations, so higher targets, so they have to produce 10 or 15 workshops every month. So all of their online workshops you have free access to as well, which results in about 10 or 12 workshops every month that you can go along for. And no matter what stage of the business you're at, keep checking on that website and there'll be a workshop for you. It's a phenomenal program. In addition to the free workshops, there are also some self-paced online resources. So the program has been running for about a year with this group of 3 organizations, and we have just started building out a series of self-paced tutorials. So at the moment I think there's 10 or 12 on the website, but we'll be adding to those every single month. So you can go on in your own time. So rather than just sitting in an hour and a half workshop and getting all that information downloaded, you'll be able to go through these tutorials in your own time to learn about things like Google Analytics, search engine optimization, cybersecurity, and go at your own pace so that you can apply them to your business. Yes. How long? They vary. They're all reasonably short, nice little videos, and instructional. They're very practical, so you can actually watch along and do it at the same time. The wonderful free part, well, it's all free so far. So normally, the last part of the program costs $110 for the business, and the federal government pays for the rest. So it's like $990 worth of value. So it's already a bargain. But because you are Startup September attendees, you get access to this for free. So what is that? It's a digital advisor that you can spend one-on-one time with in your business. So I think Tracy's going to be contacting Barbara soon to do that. We've done that with Justine recently. We helped Ian with his website previously. You get half an hour of a little exploration with either myself or Clem, who was here last week talking about websites. We spend half an hour with you looking at what your goals are and what's manageable within the time. We then send you a digital action plan that states what your goals are, what actions you need to take, who you're going to spend the next bit of time with, and some resources to help you. After that point, we'll refer you out to a digital expert. So, for example, if that was on social media marketing, you might spend 3 hours with Barbara. If it's cybersecurity, we might refer you out to One IT. So we have a number of different providers to help you reach those goals. Now, it's only 3 hours, so it's guided. You're expected to do the work. You're not going to have someone coming in and building your website for you. However, it could be Squarespace, for example, and you have 3 hours of training to build, so you understand how to build that website yourself. And that can cover a range of different things. So as we spoke about, within those 5 different categories, you could pretty much be doing anything that's in the digital space. So for example, that might just be setting up your basic software that I need for my business. It might be making sure you've got your cybersecurity right. Here are some great examples. So Amber's tutelage, she had a few different simple issues that she wanted to solve. She didn't understand how to use a WordPress website. The form on her website wasn't connecting to her CRM, so people were signing up, but it wasn't bringing all that information in. Her CRM had email marketing functionality that she didn't know how to use. She couldn't connect it up. So over 3 hours, we just solved each one of those problems. Territory Aesthetics, who are going to be with us on Thursday of next week. They joined us for the very first Startup September, and about 3 months later, they started their business. They joined us because they had, they joined Digital Solutions because they had a website built with GoDaddy Website Builder, which just wasn't ranking. It didn't have the search engine optimization capabilities that they wanted. And so we spent 3 hours with them doing training on WordPress, and now they have a lovely WordPress website which ranks better. And then finally, Outback Engraver, another great example of what Digital Solutions can do. I don't want to reveal his secrets, but basically we spent the first session mapping out all of his business processes from start to finish. And we looked at all the points where processes could be automated so that he was spending his time more efficiently. And then took that map away, and he's found software that will automate all of those things that he wants to, to make his life easier. And so he started that process, and that new software system will be in place in the next 3 months, and it's going to make his business much more efficient. There are lots of different ways that we can use Digital Solutions, and for you guys, it's free. So how do you get that for free? So first of all, if you want to see those workshops and access the self-paced tutorials, you can go to digitalsolutions.businessfoundations.com.au. I'm not a fan of how long that URL is, but you can use the QR code to access it. And in your email tomorrow, we'll obviously be linking all of these things up, so you'll see them. And again, as always, the video from tonight and the slides will be on your course content page, so you'll be able to access all of this stuff in various fashions from tomorrow onwards. How to get it for free? This one. So if you, again, we'll be sending you this link in your email tomorrow, but if you follow this link, we have for Startup September attendees, you register in Humanitics, we'll send you a promo code and you can sign up completely free for Digital Solutions and get those 4 hours with an expert completely free. So that is Digital Solutions. Now I would love to hand you over to the wonderful Barbara, who's going to be wonderful again.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Barbara.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, everybody. So I've got about half an hour. I want to try and fit in as much as I can for you about some strategies to improve your marketing, but also some CRM. And a quick little plug for your cybersecurity. I've been hacked twice. Don't think that you're a small business, it won't happen to you. One was through my Microsoft and one was through Zoom. You're an easy target as a small business, so make sure you pay attention. It's you think that big businesses are the ones that are going to get targeted. They've got a lot of money to have a lot of security. You are such an easy target. You're an easy target, so you want to pay attention to it. So don't think it's not going to happen to you. It's happened to me twice. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is CRM. Do you know what a CRM is? Does anyone? What does CRM stand for?
Customer relationship management.
Yeah, it's a customer relationship management. And so what that means is it's a tool for you in your business. And what's really important to understand about CRM is it's a system or a software. So even in the early stages of your business, you can create a system to manage the relationship that you have with your customers. It's how you interact with leads, prospects, and customers. Do you know what the difference is between a lead and a prospect? Does anyone want to have a go at defining what the difference is? Okay, no one's going. Yeah. So a lead is like a bait on the hook. It's just, it might be a phone number, a name, an email address. It's something that you've got to start a conversation. A prospect is, yeah, we've engaged, we're interested, they want a proposal, they want to talk more. So it's more likely that this one is going to be business. This is basically people signing up to your newsletter, for example. That's just a lead. And so this is data that you're going to want to start tracking through your business. Beautiful thing about a CRM is it helps you track that data. You basically want to work backwards. How many customers do I want to get each month? In order to do that, how many proposals or meetings or prospects do I need to have in order to get that many meetings and conversations? How many leads do I need to have? And that's sometimes scary. We go, oh, wow. How am I going to get that many leads to make business? But that's the harsh reality of business. And a good CRM system will help you observe that data so you know your numbers. You know what you need to be turning over and generating in order to do well. So the primary goal is to improve the business relationships. You want people to fall in love with you. You want to streamline your process. So Neil was talking about that business that actually developed some systems in place. The same with Amber's Chillich as well. They were refining their systems and their processes. Ultimately, we want to make money, don't we? We're in business to make money. So this tool is fundamental in order for you to be able to do that. And how it does it is by managing the data. We want to be able to know how many leads, where do they live, what are they interested in, all of those things. And ideally, we want to track the interactions. Did they click on something? Did they open something? Did they engage with it? How many times did we speak to them? When do we need to talk to them next? All of those kind of things. A good CRM system will automate stuff. It will make things happen automatically for you. It might automate tasks that you need to do, little things that follow-up phone calls you might need to do. It's going to remind you need to do that. Or it can even be for sales or marketing. It's going to, if this happens, then this happens. Or maybe it's because the customer needs some kind of support from you. A CRM system can do all of those things potentially. And a good CRM system is providing you with those reports and insights. If you don't have a software to do that for you, then you're going to want an Excel spreadsheet that's doing that for you, that's tracking those leads, prospects, and customers and collecting that data for you each week, each month, each year. But that's where the tools are great. That's why we pay money for them, is to be able to get them to do that information for us. So the challenge is there's so many out there. There are just so many different tools that you can access. You can actually start with, and this is what I did, is creating systems within your email system that you're using. If you're using Gmail or Outlook, you're probably using one or the other. There are actually some tools that you can use right now that will help you manage that relationship with your customer, help you, remind you to do things. A lot of it's going to be manual to start with, but at least you understand the process that you're then going to automate. So to start with, you could do it with that. But here's a whole range of others that I'm familiar with, that I have used with. That's just some of them. There's hundreds out there. And so I'm going to go through these with you. Now, this could get pretty dry, these slides, I'm going to give you the pros and cons for each one. I realised as I was preparing this presentation, it was a bit like my story of my love life. Why did I enter into a relationship with them, and why did I break up with them? So that's kind of the theme we're going to have here. I created a little bit of a caricature of these as if they were my boyfriend, of each of these CRMs. What I loved about them, what I didn't love about them, why I broke up. So I'm going to start with Gmail or Outlook. The pros is it's cheap, it's free. You're already using it. It's already where you're working. You're already in that space. The good news is that whatever you're doing with that data, you can import it or export it for when you're ready to start with a CRM system. So it's just, once again, about priming it and getting it ready. You can task manage there, and you can also keep client notes, keep a record of your conversations, what you need to do, set reminders. The bad side to this, and this is really important, if you start mass emailing people from your domain or from your account, you can get blacklisted very easily, very hard to undo that. That's basically people going, this looks like spam, and if too many people do that, then your domain gets blacklisted, right? Or shadow banned, you've heard of that with social media, it's that kind of thing. Do you want to sit down here? Have a seat down. You don't have a sign-up or subscription system, so people can't unsubscribe from emails that you're sending from Gmail. People can't sign up with you, so you don't have that with a Gmail system. There's no workflows or automations that can be, no automatic things that can happen. It's manual. It's you doing it. It's very deep manual reports. It doesn't churn out reports. It's mostly a manual system, and there's a lot more risk there. So if it was a boyfriend, it's my first one. He was my dorky first boyfriend. Yeah, he was my first one. That's where I started, my first love affair, okay? Microsoft Dynamics and Salesforce. So does Beck still use Salesforce, Neil? Do you still use Salesforce or something?
Not for much longer.
Oh, really? What are you moving to?
Drupal Connect.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that. Yeah. So these guys, the big guns, these are what the big corporations use. The government loves them because they're very, very safe. So if you think you're going to work with a government, if you think your client is going to be government, they will like this because it's very, very secure. The data is secure. It's highly customizable. You can really build this thing out to do some really sophisticated things. Plays friendly with others. I'm often going to refer to that. So that means it'll seamlessly sync with an email. If you send an email, it tracks it in the CRM very seamlessly, and it will integrate with Xero and all the other software tools that you want. So it's very good, plays friendly very, very well. And it's great for big teams or multiple locations. That's why big businesses like it. The downside needs to be custom built usually. It needs some kind of build to it, which gets expensive and it's hard for you to do yourself. You normally need to employ somebody to do it. It's quite technical. You typically need to onboard your whole team and train them on how you drive your system. So it can be costly to run and costly to modify. And sometimes the add-on features end up costing a lot more. So it's not one that I would necessarily recommend for a startup, because unless you're going really big or working with government. So, you know, it's a bit out of my league. So he's a bit out of my league, this guy. Yeah. I was probably punching a bit high. MailChimp, everyone heard of MailChimp? MailChimp is kind of like a CRM system. Ghostly voice behind me. So the pros for MailChimp is it's really popular because it's simple and easy, and there's a great free entry. It's a good starting point with MailChimp. It's easy to use. It does play friendly with other systems, but not email. So if you're sending an email from Outlook or Gmail, it's not going to sync. It's not going to play the same way or replicate within that as a CRM. It integrates really well with your website. So you can put an embed, it's called an embed. So there's a form on your website that'll send the data straight to MailChimp. And it's very, very easy to do. So it really plays friendly with the other systems. The downside to it, it's not a great CRM. So it doesn't have what we call pipelines. You can't see the flow for what's happening for the customer. It does have some cost restrictions. So as your business grows, you're going to have to start paying and paying and paying for different things, which can be a bit annoying. Customer support is really not great. It's not, unless you're paying like MailChimp lots of money, they really don't want to talk to you or help you navigate things or problem solve. So that can be really irritating. And it does have limited features. So it's not always easy to data filter. It does have landing pages, but they're a bit limited in what they can do. Landing pages are basically where you send a client to a very simple URL where they can sign up to something and it looks pretty. The lists can get very confusing to manage. I find it very difficult to navigate the different lists and being able to manage that. So if MailChimp was my boyfriend, he'd look good at the start. Like, you know, I thought he was the surfer dude and he was great, but then I soon realised, no, he wasn't that good after all. He was a bit dumb. Okay, so HubSpot, anyone use HubSpot? Do you like HubSpot? You're using that with your business? Or you've used it?
Testing a new ones as well.
Yeah.
But then we got started with HubSpot really good.
Yeah.
Now we're trying Monday.com.
Okay, yeah.
And a few others as well.
Yeah. I love HubSpot. Love it. I fell in love with HubSpot. I really, really loved it. Was totally sold. HubSpot is great because it's free to start with. And if you want to get started with a CRM, if you want to start learning how to use a CRM, I would definitely encourage you to go with HubSpot. It's a beautiful tool that you can start with free. I think it's better than MailChimp. And it does play friendly with emails with others, but not so great with email. It does a little bit, but you probably have to pay for some of those features. It's really easy to use. That's what I love about it. For a CRM, it is so easy to use. It integrates really beautifully with your website, has really good customer support. And the beautiful thing is it has pipelines. So you can see what the pathway is that your customer is doing, where they're at in the journey, what you're taking them through. And it does have some automations. Downside is it gets very expensive very quickly. As soon as your business grows, you suddenly are catapulting into really expensive subscriptions. And that's where I had to break up with HubSpot. It's like, I can't go from $70 to $500 a month, then to $1,000 a month. At that point in time, it might have changed, but that was the structure. And I was like, we've got to break up. I'm sorry. So that's really the only downside. So he gets you hooked. He's very charming, gets you hooked, and then he's very expensive. Yeah, it's like he gets you on the drugs, you know, like he gets you addicted and then you're hooked and you can't get out. Looks a bit sinister, doesn't he? But it's a beautiful system. So I would suggest that you start there and you can always export the data into an affordable CRM. It's a good place to learn.
Yeah, I have no idea about it as well. So when you say any business grows, are you talking people or are you talking money?
Both. As your business expands and grows and you want to do more. Yeah. Yeah. So as you start to have a bigger database, as you want to do more sophisticated things in your business, want to refine how you're making money, your CRM is going to support you to do that. Yeah. So like Beck has, you kind of sometimes you outgrow your CRM systems and they don't match you anymore. Some you will stay with for a very long time. Yeah. Yeah. So like you can start with Outlook and Gmail. You can start there if you want to. You can start with MailChimp, but chances are you're eventually going to outgrow it because it doesn't do all the sophisticated things that you can do as a sophisticated business as you grow. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not sure the class, but that's okay. We can talk about
Yeah. Anyone heard of Zoho? Yeah, Zoho is a really interesting one. A lot of people like Zoho because it has a cheap entry level. It has an incredible portfolio of tools that you can use, project management tools. It's really sophisticated. It really plays friendly with others in terms of how it integrates with email. It has incredible social media integration. So you can, if someone likes on your post, you can hook it up to that person within your database. Like you can really track a lot of stuff with social media. It has really solid pipelines and automations, really good task management, really sophisticated system. It's amazing. It's very expensive to add on new seats and use it. So every time you need to have someone come in and help you, because it does have good cybersecurity, you can't just give your password to somebody else. It's got two-factor authentication. So you have to pay for somebody else and it can get very expensive very quickly. It's not user-friendly at all. I can't even work it out. I have clients that are using it and going, I'm going to have to find somebody to help you with this because I cannot work this out. It is incredibly technical. So unless you want to go there, like it's pretty sophisticated. It's good value for money, but oh my God, you're in for a journey of learning with this one. It's really, really tricky. So he's pretty flashy, but he's a bit too complicated for me. It's just way too complicated. Got too much going on. Yeah. Quite sophisticated, but yeah, it's very serious and way too much going on, too much hard work. Oh, you already got the picture. Damn. So with Active Campaign, this was a pretty solid relationship. So he's pretty solid. He's pretty robust. It's and reliable and sustainable. So Active Campaign does have some cheaper entry levels, and as you grow, it's not like HubSpot. You go from here to, whereas Active Campaign is a nice, gentle, incremental growth with your business. It has a lovely some great project management features within it as well. It plays friendly with others, so it integrates really well. It will sync up with your email really well. Beautiful pipelines and automations, really, really simple to understand, really simple to design, great task management, great automations. I was using this for a long time. It's really, really solid, stable, robust. That's the kind of boyfriend it is. The downside is if you, let's say you've got 1,000 subscribers, once you go over 1,000, you're going to be paying more. So with this, you do have to encourage people to unsubscribe, because if you get too many subscribers, you start paying for it. And I think MailChimp's the same as well. Customer support is terrible because it's in the US. So if you want real-time support, something's crashed, it's not working, you can't work it out, you have to chat. If you're going to chat with somebody in real time to try and troubleshoot what's going on, you have to wait till US hours. Otherwise, it's a 3-day back and forth email correspondence to try and solve a problem. That was probably the killer for me. I just could not tolerate that terrible customer support, and reporting costs extra if you want to get the reports out of it. Pipe Drive is a pretty popular one. Cheap entry level, great for workflows, easy templates, customizable pipelines. It doesn't do marketing well. It's great for flow, beautiful for flow and understanding the flow in your business, great for big teams. Doesn't manage automations well, has pretty limited customer support and very basic reporting. So I said, you're kind of going a little bit blind with your marketing, quite stable, but you know, you're a bit blind with what's happening with your marketing and how your customer is engaging. Damn, my timing's out of my slides again. So Go Higher Level, this is the one I'm with now. So this one, I say it's sophisticated and flashy. Go Higher Level is a really interesting one because my advice is to get it from somebody that is doing what's called white label. So basically that means digital people or marketers can purchase it from Go Higher Level but put their own brand on it. So I pay a little bit more than if I went to Go Higher Level direct. I'm going through somebody who white labels, but it's an Australian guy and I've got him on 24-hour call if I want. And that's what I love. Help me fix this. How do I make it do this? What can I do for my business with this system? So it's cheap to use. It integrates well with Google and Facebook. It creates little microsites for you or landing pages, really clever automations, beautiful reporting. So that's what I'm using now. It's my favourite. It's my boyfriend right now, this one. And but the downside is it's really best if you use it direct. It's very, very cheap, but the customer support's not great. So you really want to use it with someone that's white labeling it. It's still fairly new, so the integration's not wide. Yeah. All right, I'm going to, moving on. I'm not doing marketing yet. I'm doing that later.
Yes, I think we're moving on to Ali.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Good. Hi, Ali. Everyone, this is Ali Dhirani who's going to be speaking to you about finance software. Very, very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Ali. Great to see very familiar faces in the room. So it kind of makes it easier, but also nervous at the same time because you guys know what's coming up. Before I start anything or any presentation that I do, I like to start off by telling you a story. And the story will encapsulate everything that we're pretty much going to talk about. So at least you guys are kind of aware. First question, how many people are from an accounting background or have a little bit knowledge of accounting? Great, cool. It's going to be easier for those people who come from an accounting background, but the focus of this whole presentation will be for people who don't come from an accounting background. So we'll try and make it very, very simple, straightforward, and we'll use very layman's terms. Now, my story. Last year, we had a client in Sydney, and we went to see him. Really good guy, ran a butchery and had 5 businesses. He actually got a call from the ATO, and the ATO told him that, hey, we see that you've been earning some income, but we don't see your lodgements. You haven't lodged your taxes. You haven't done anything like that. Can you just get your records to date and figure it out? So obviously he comes up, tells me, hey, Ali, look, I've got the situation. The ATO is reaching out. What do I do? Great. I was like, oh, let's go through your accounting software and we'll just print some reports and figure out, what it is. And to my surprise, for the past 4 years, he had no accounting software. So which means that he had no accounting software. We had to sit down with him, spend months because there was a lot of bank statements and there was 5 businesses. At the end of the day, it costed him $20,000, which is great for me, right? Big billable hours, I had a good time. However, it wasn't great for him. From this year, the ATO, sorry?
Did you pay?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have given his example if he didn't. Coming this year, we transferred everything into the accounting software. We told him how it's used. We showed his customers, his staff as to how to allocate entries and things like those. The ATO reached out to him this time again hey, you haven't lodged your tax. What's happening? Reached out to me, Ali, hey, I haven't done it. What do I do? Let's go through your accounting software. It costed him $2,000 this time, and everything was done within 2 weeks. So just to give you an overall picture of how much it helps. That was my first one. The second one, and this is something that we all think about. Why do I need an accounting software? I'm not even thinking of having a bigger business. I'm only going to have 10 transactions, 12 transactions. I don't need an accounting software for that. I had a lady who was from Tanzania, where I'm from, and started her cleaning business. And all she did was just clean houses for 2 people. And she did that for consecutively 6 months. No accounting software, nothing. Very straightforward transactions in and out. Suddenly, in those 6 months, she started doing so well. Everybody started referring her. She started doing more cleaning here, there. And now she had a client base of 50. Sending out invoices, reconciling transactions, everything was harder. But when she started her business with 2 people, she had an accounting software. So she maintained that even though she had very few transactions with limited subscription. But when she expanded, she was already in that situation to accept her scalability with no dramas because she had the processes in place. The invoices were being sent out to 2. All she had to do was obviously spend more time, but everything was automated. So everything that I'm going to talk about here is firstly, if you have your records and they're all over the place, then your accounting software is something that actually allows you to report. But also for those people who may think that, hey, I'm not going to expand my business, or I don't know if I'm going to have that clients, it's always good to be prepared. So the presentation is basically going to highlight 4 parts. So we're obviously going to understand what an accounting software is and how it functions. Number 2, importance of accounting software in today's business environment. The benefits and key features of popular accounting softwares, and mainly Xero and Myo, because that is majority of what people use in Australia. There's a lot of other accounting softwares like Sage, QuickBooks, and things like those, but these are quite adaptive and very, very user-friendly. And learn, last part, we are Xero partner advisors, and we can help you out on accounting softwares later on. But just to understand how an accounting software can transform financial management and decision-making. Next week, I will be talking about cash flow. Like our customers, our revenue, and our cash is very important. So this is just the starting before we get into the final presentation next week. So obviously an accounting software is a computer program designed to assist bookkeepers, accountants in recording and reporting firms' financial transactions with precision and efficiency. So like any software, like a CRM software, like a marketing software, this is an accounting software. Anything. Now, if I ask you, if you open your bank account, right? Nicoletta, I'm going to use your example because, we know each other. So if Nicoletta opened her bank account, and if I asked her, can you identify these transactions? And Nicoletta said, yeah, this was the invoice I sent to this one. This was the expense I paid for this one. This was the expense I paid for this one. And pretty much we go through everything. And this is something we all know because we maintain our own bank accounts. We maintain our own inflows and outflows. So we have the exact idea of where our transaction and where incoming and outgoing funds are. An accounting software does exactly the same thing. Your bank account is attached to that software, and all you need to do is spend some time and identify whether this is an income and this is an expense. And if it's an expense, whether it's a fuel expense, whether it's a mobile phone expense, whether it's an internet expense. We'll talk about what softwares are more user-friendly, but at the end of the day, when you allocate these transactions or when you identify these transactions, they give you reports. And these reports are very important for the ATO, for the bank, for any finance that you would like to apply for. And these are your balance sheets, your income statements, your cash flows, and everything else. The advantage of some accounting softwares is that it also integrates with Square. So if you have a Square software, or if you use Square, and if you take transactions on PayPass, that Square is linked to your Xero, and all the income that you get from your Square is actually automatically put into your accounting software. Now, how does the accounting software work? We've touched a little bit on it. It's data input. Basically, all the transactions that are into your bank account are compiled into one place, and it becomes your responsibility or your bookkeeper's responsibility or your accountant's responsibility to then identify which transaction goes where or what has the transaction been spent for. again, this is very important that whenever you have transactions, whenever you're making expenditure, it's important to have supporting documents. The ATO or anyone would ask you for that. So make sure you have those supporting documents. But the advantage is that accounting softwares also work on your mobile phone. So every time you make a purchase, you can always take a photo, and that receipt or that invoice that you have taken a photo for automatically gets into the accounting software and matches that transaction. So when you go into that accounting software and if you see you have spent money on fuel, and if you have uploaded a receipt, it automatically ties in. And this is the best part of the digital solution program and the era that we're living in. So digital, everything's AI, everything is automated. Ask people 20, 30 years ago, there was no bookkeeping. People had big records of registers and stuff like that. Automated processing, once you start allocating everything, once you start identifying each transaction from your bank account, it automates the whole process of preparing reports and financial reports, and real-time reporting, because the accounting software picks up your transactions straight away. So if you spend money today, it will be on your accounting software tomorrow, and you can exactly know day to day where you're standing in your financial situation. Why is an accounting software important? Accuracy. Because we can do things manually, but if we miss a zero here and there, it's going to be a big problem. If we miss our GST here and there, and GST calculation may look simple, but it's not very simple, and the accounting software actually does it for you. All you need to say, GST inclusive, and boom, when you print out your report, you have your GST, you have your tax liability. Efficiency, automatic. So once the accounting software knows that this is your, when you go to Puma, when you go to BP, when you go to Caltex, this is fuel expenditure. The accounting software is so integrated with technology that it knows that this is fuel expenditure. And when you make it consecutively, the accounting software already identifies, hey, I know what this is. When your sales come in from Square, the accounting software already knows that this is a sale and I know how to identify it. Compliance, GST reporting, tax reporting. If you maintain all of this, it is a requirement that you have all of this information. Go to an accountant and the first thing he's going to ask you, hey, do you have your zero reports? You can print it out, present to him, and it makes the accountant's work half easier. Scalability, if you want to grow, similarly as your CRM software, you need to know what your clientele are. You need to know how much I made in July. You need to know how much I made in August. You need to know how I did in the last 90 days so I can plan for the next 90 days. So cash flows, forecasting, all of this is very important. And the accounting software does it for you because it has all that information. You don't have to wait to go to an accountant, see how you did the whole year, so then you can plan the next year. This is real-time basis, real-time analysis. And again, reporting provides timely and accurate financial reports. And these are very important when you want to make a decision, because all of us here want to be an entrepreneur or want to be in business. And I'll tell you something, when I started my business just over 4 years ago, I never knew that we would have 3 offices and would have more than 10 staff. So if you think that you're not going to be scalable in your business, but if you're passionate about what you do, everyone's business is going to do well, and you will need these tools and softwares to actually help you do that when the time comes. Financial reports. Now this, for those people who come from an accounting background, is quite, straightforward. It's the main, it's the basis of accounting. But for those people who are not from an accounting background, these are some financial reports that are very standard for whenever you want to present, ask for a loan, ask for finance, ask for investment, your profit and loss to just check how much how much money has come in, how much money has gone out, your balance sheet, which actually shows what assets or liabilities you have. Now, assets is anything that is valuable to the business that can be sold in a later term to earn money, and a liability is something that a business will have in the future as an expense. Even though it's not incurred yet, it may incur later. For example, GST is a good example. You don't have to pay GST as you go. You can pay it after 3 months. So that is a liability that you would have to pay after 3 months. Car financing that you pay every month, that's a liability, and that is how it will be recorded. Cash flow statement. Now, this is something that a lot of people confuse themselves between a profit and loss and a cash flow statement. People think that a profit and loss shows my money coming in and my money going out. Great. But that's different, because when, especially the weather that the city that we live in, Darwin, and how seasonal things are, when sometimes we issue invoices, they may take 2 weeks to pay, they may take 3 weeks to pay. And if you work with the government or any NDIS provider or anything like that, then those payments can go up to a month, even 60 days. 60 days. So that means that your profit and loss might show some huge amounts of money, but when you go see your bank account, there is no cash there. So you need to know how your cash flow is going, whether you have the ability to pay the bills as and when they come. And again, the next week session is mainly going to be about cash flow, how to keep cash in the business. It's mainly not only for people who are already in business, but also people who are starting, so they can practice some tips and tricks to actually avoid those situations and actually have that buffer in case a situation like this may occur where your payments are going to be received at a later date. Accounts receivable report is to know if you're doing invoices, to find out how much is actually outstanding. And remember, if something is outstanding for more than 30 days, that is money that you are supposed to have in your bank account that is not in your bank account. And that's what I tell all my clients. We're not banks, we're business owners. So if you have a 7-day payment term, if you have a 14-day payment term, I always tell them change it to 7. If you have a 30-day payment terms, change it to 14. And a lot of people tell me, oh, we're going to lose our client. Oh, this is going to happen. Nothing happens like this. Try it out. I've done it myself and it actually works. Your inventory report. So for people who actually sell goods and have stock in their premises, it's a good way to actually track that stock, to put in numbers that come in, the numbers that go out. So then you can, at any given point in time, you can actually go into your accounting software and see this is my inventory and this is actually how much it's worth. Benefits of the accounting software, we've spoken about this. It saves time. Instead of going through every transaction and writing things down, we know even when we print PDF, when we get bank statements, they're in PDF, and it's very hard to convert them into Excel. So even if you say that we're going to do them in Excel, it becomes a little bit harder. So it's very, very accurate. It saves time, and it's cost efficient. I just gave you an example earlier from $20,000 bill to a $2,000 bill, just because of an accounting software. It makes life very, very easy. Better financial management, because now you know in real time every sale, every week you know your sales, every month you know your sales. You know that which 90 days, dry season, wet season, you exactly know how much you're doing and how you're performing. You don't have to wait for a whole year. Enhanced security, again, the guys here are going to talk about cybersecurity, but it is very secure platform. Everything is verified by a 2-factor authenticator code. You get, codes on your phone, and you have all these softwares that you use that actually allows you to be secure. And accessibility. We all use Facebook, right? On the cloud. We all use accounting. We all use some sort of social media platform. Xero and MYOB on the cloud, which is on the desktop, not the desktop, but on the cloud, like any accounting software, is very, very user-friendly. There's not much going on. It's a really nice dashboard. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes very, very straightforward. The two accounting softwares that we're talking about is Xero and MYOB. Now, a question that I get asked a lot by a lot of people is, what's the difference? Which one should I use? And personally, what I tell them, that if you're going to be if your bookkeeper or accountant is going to be maintaining your books, then any of the two accounting softwares are fine, because they would have to know how to use it. But if it's yourself, and if it's an individual who has no accounting knowledge, then Xero is very, very user-friendly. You can use it on the phone, you can use it on your desktop, you can take pictures of receipt, you can upload them straight away. So there's a lot of things that you can actually do with Xero. However, when you go to your MYOB, that's exactly the same thing. However, if you are someone that works with a lot of not-for-profit organizations, if you're someone that receives grant money, if you're someone that are required to give acquittals and statements of reports to different third-party organizations, then MYOB allows you to do that, because it doesn't only include your sales and your expense, but it actually allows you to put your sales into different categories. So you can put it to job number 1, Department of Foreign Affairs, number 2, Department of Health, number 3, Department of Territory Families, and you can then export reports based on that particular departments. But that only if you're doing job costing and if you receive money from different government organizations. MYOB is a good tool for that. Both the accounting software allows you to do payroll, it is integrated with the Australian taxation system, which means that every time you run a payroll, it calculates your super automatically. It calculates how much tax you're supposed to pay. So you don't have to go manually, go on the website, or I'm paying this one $2,000. How much tax am I supposed to pay? How much super am I supposed to pay? Everything is done on that accounting software for you. In fact, those accounting software now are integrated with the ATO. That means that when you want to do your lodgement, and if everything is something that you have already allocated, you just have to press a button and all your reports go to the ATO and the money is deducted from your account and voila, we're good. Yeah, our conclusion, I don't have much to say. Accounting software is a very vital tool that enhances the efficiency, accuracy, and security of financial management. Whether on premises or in the cloud, doesn't matter. These solutions offer business the flexibility and insight needed to thrive in today's competitive environment. The only way we can thrive in our business is if we are better than someone else, and we can only be better if we have the tools that allow us to be better. Yes.
Say if you're a small business and you have only one employee, what's the simple touch payroll system which you are now compulsorily required to use?
Which is interesting because it's a very good question. Now, what used to happen back in the day is that we used to work a whole year, right? Then our employer gives us a payment summary, a PYG summary, or a notice of assessment or something like that, that you then take to your accountant and then you tell them that, look, this is how much I've received, this is how much tax I've paid, and that may take long, that may not be very accurate. The advantage of the single touch payroll, especially integrated into an accounting software, is everything is live. Every time you run a payroll, that information is straight away sent to the ATO. So that means your employee at the end of the year doesn't have to necessarily come to you and be like, hey, can you give me my reports? Can you give me this? Can you give me that? Because everything's already been reported to the ATO. Yes.
Yes, but if you don't have any of these software and you're just operating with an Excel spreadsheet, you still have to have that single touch payroll system.
That's right.
So is there an outsourcer who provides it?
Just the single touch payroll system. So Xero and MYOB only allow you to do payroll options as well. So it's a limited subscription. You don't have to get your banking or anything connected, but just use payroll on Xero and it allows you to do, so both the accounting software have, I think it's $10 a month just for payroll.
Thanks.
Right. Any questions? Yes.
Just a quick one. Say you've got a few startup expenses, but you're not trading. When do you think you should invest to start subscribing and paying money for this?
I really like that question because what happens is that we start spending money and we start investing into a lot of stuff. And then later on, once the business kicks off, you're like, oh, I've spent all this money. Now I have to start looking for everything. I say that if you decide to start running your business today, and if you've spent $1 today, you have already got into business. Remember, business is not only about income or sales. Business is about your intention getting into there. And if you have invested that money from an accounting point of view, that's already capital. And that needs to be recorded as capital as well. So those are all the things from a personal point of view. I think that you need to start having accounting software as soon as you start deciding that I'm going to spend money. Let's get an accounting software, have your bank account separate, so everything is separated.
One last question.
Yes.
I use Excel for my accounting.
Right.
Can I integrate it to my phone? I'm not sure because I got Microsoft 365.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a home subscription.
Yeah.
I'm told that I can access it on my phone.
You could, yes.
But do I have to upgrade?
Well, I think that's going to be a question for the IT guys.
Okay, answer that. No, you don't have to upgrade. You should be able to do that. But I think you'll find Excel on your phone particularly difficult to use. So, to be honest, I wouldn't even try. I've got Xero on my phone. I can run my business from the UK. Yeah, that's all I take with me. So I would say invest. It's not a big expense. If you can't afford that, you probably need to reevaluate if you should start a business.
Look, I'm on 150,000 turnover. And I only use Excel. Anyway, this gentleman doesn't like my question.
No, I think you can use it, but it's just a little bit it's not very user friendly when you use it on your phone. Your Excel, you can definitely integrate it and have it there. It's just not very user friendly,
Can I ask you?
Yes.
If we have a Mayo, can we still go into the accountant, or if we have a Mayo, it's going straight away to the chief?
No, if you can do it on your own, it's always good to check it with your accountant if you're not coming from an accounting background, just to make sure everything's been reconciled properly, make sure the GST and all the tax liabilities have been allocated properly. But it doesn't charge you much. instead of him charging you for 10 hours of bookkeeping, he's going to only charge you 1 hour just reviewing and submitting everything. You know, just in case you're looking for an accountant, you probably see someone. Yes.
Sales from overseas, if you're selling services and products overseas and the income comes in. I've got part of the market, the US market, and each state and territory requires invoicing to be shown to pay the GST equivalent in US dollars.
You only need to charge sales tax in the US if you have a registered office there.
Yeah, so
You can get around that. You don't actually have to charge the sales tax.
and linking through my mail large account to services that can be done with your.
Yeah, you can use the account.
So I'm glad I haven't finished that shit.
Yeah, all good. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Forward to having you back next week. Thank you very much. Now, I have to do a little bit of technical jiggery-pokery because we are being joined by the ATO from afar. So we've got Jimmy to talk to us about e-invoicing. So I'm just going to stop sharing this and introduce Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Would you like to take over? You can share your screen.
Wow. Did you go?
Oh, you have to unmute yourself.
Sure. Certainly. Can you see my screen and hear me okay?
Yes, Jimmy, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. It's fantastic to see all of you, and thanks for Bernadette and Niall and team for inviting me here. So what I will do in the next 20 minutes is I would like to share about what is e-invoicing, what business invoicing challenges that e-invoicing actually address, what is the ATO role in this project, and how you can actually get started. So first, I would like to show you this picture here. So on the top of the picture, you will see the common invoicing process. So the invoice is created manually or through the accounting software, transposed into a PDF, attached to an email, send it over the email network, and then on the other end, the invoice is actually received, scanned, or manually rekeyed into the accounting software, and then from there it's going to be processed. Now, with e-invoicing, it's different. So the invoice is going to be created automatically in the system, sent through a secured network called the PEPAL network. And this access is actually built into your software, and it will be received by your client into the accounting software straight away without being manually scanned or actually rekeyed. Now, invoicing works similar like a mobile phone. So if you have a mobile phone, it doesn't matter whether you have an Apple, Samsung, or whether your provider is Optus or Telstra, you can still make and receive phone call or text. The same with e-invoicing. So it doesn't matter what software you have. It doesn't matter what access point, which is the Telstra and Optus of e-invoicing. You can trade with each other. You can send and receive e-invoices with each other. So the key is both the sending and the receiving software need to be e-invoicing enabled. And the destination address of this e-invoice is not an email address, but it's your ABN. So it is more secure. So email, as you know, are actually very easy to create and very easy to hack. This is a secured network. So next, let us see. So basically, what is e-invoicing? E-invoicing is digital exchange of invoice information between a buyer's and supplier's accounting systems through a secured network. So you are not e-invoicing if your invoice still go as a PDF attached to email, or the invoice can actually get lost in a way. So next, I'm going to actually show you the three most common business challenges nowadays. The first one is about security. As you may have heard, there are a lot of talk about security nowadays, especially cybersecurity. So according to ScamWatch, approximately 2.5% of Australians have experienced scam. So while approximately about 65% of us have exposed to scam. So this is a very bad statistic, even though it is better than last year. A whopping 134 million has been lost in the first 6 months of this year through cyber scam. And payment redirection scams are the most common scam for business. So this is where the cyber criminal basically deceive businesses into making payment to fraudulent accounts. According to ScamWatch, 92 million was lost to this type of scam in 2023. So the question that I would like to ask you is, can you afford to pay your supplier twice or not getting paid by your customer at all? Now, you may be interested to know that unless your supplier is proven to be negligent, and it is difficult to do that through the court system, you are liable to still pay your supplier if you make the payment to the scammer. Now, on the other side, if you are the supplier and your invoice is intercepted and your customer pay that scammer, you may not get paid because they will basically try to say that they have made a payment, but you said you never received the payment. So it is going to be a long process to actually resolve this. So what can you do? Using e-invoicing is one way to protect yourself and eliminate the need for email PDF, because the invoice is going to be sent through a secure network. Now, the next business challenge is about the high costs in both time and money to process manual invoices. Our research show that over 1.3 billion invoices actually sent and received annually in Australia. Most are still sent as an email, as a PDF attached to email. And 90% of them are processed manually, either through the scanner or manual keying. The average cost to process a paper invoice is $30, PDF $27, and e-invoices is only $9. So you can save both time and money by using e-invoicing. This is the overall cost, not just the cost of the software. This is the cost of your people, basically, and your time to enter the invoices manually. And then the next one is about late payment. Now, as we all know, cash flow is the king for small business especially. So late payment is actually a common problem in both the paper and PDF invoicing. So with the manual process, it lends itself to mistakes, which you have to correct, missing information, which you will have to find, and also lost invoices, which you have to chase. So all of this actually accumulate and delay payment. So e-invoicing as a system-to-system data transmission reduce the wasted time spent on all of these issues and actually foster faster payment. Now, the next one is if you trade with a lot of businesses, especially large business, you may be forced to join their invoicing network. With e-invoicing, that's not the case anymore. As long as you and your trading partners are in the system, in the e-invoicing network, then you don't have to change the way that you do invoicing from your end. You don't have to pay more to be able to invoice your customer in this case. So the most important question that a lot of people actually ask is, what is the ATO role in this case? So Apple is used, the secure network actually used by more than 40 countries. And every jurisdiction have the PayPal authority. So the authority that manages the PayPal network and also manage the accreditation of the players in the network. In Australia, that authority is the ATO. So the government picked the ATO because we have a lot of experience in managing big IT projects, and Ali mentioned about the STP, single touch payroll. Before that, we also involved in the SuperStream, and most recently, the job keepers. So we are actually experienced in managing big IT initiative like this. Now, important thing is the legislation allow us to administer the PEPAL framework and govern the standard. However, it doesn't allow us to see the invoice details. We don't have any legislation and we don't have any infrastructure. So this is very different from the single touch payroll that Ali actually mentioned. So none of this invoice data actually come to the ATO. It will be between the seller and the buyer. So the government only do this because we understand that e-invoicing going to play an important role in improving business efficiency and productivity. So how do you get started? To get started is pretty easy. So first, please review your invoicing process at the moment and find what need to be changed if you are going to adopt e-invoicing. So if you still send invoices as an email PDF, then you will not need to do that anymore. So you can create that invoice in the accounting software and send it directly on the other side. If you receive an email, have a look at it, approve it, and then put it to the accounting system. Now the process may change. You will see the invoice on the accounting system, approve it that way, and then process it. Now, e-invoicing only cover the sending and the receiving of the invoices. The invoice need to still be checked, approved, and payment need to be made outside the system. So you don't have to worry that this system going to automatically pay your bill without you actually checking it yourself. So e-invoicing is built into most small business accounting software, and the accounting software subscription actually cover the cost. So there is no extra cost. If you don't use accounting software, there are a few service provider that will offer you this service of sending and receiving e-invoices, and there are low to no cost options. So you can start small or large. So I would probably suggest that you start small. You can find a few of your trading partners that you feel comfortable with, start sending and receiving e-invoices with them, and then go from there. So if you already use software, all you need to do is just to talk to your software providers and ask them how to register for e-invoicing and follow the instruction to register and use e-invoicing with your accounting software. And if you would like to know about all the software providers that have an e-invoicing software ready, you can find it on the ATO website. I already shared this presentation with the link to Business Enterprise Center, so you can get the link from there. So there you have it. The invoicing is just the next step in your digital exchange of business document like invoice. You have gone in the past from posting the invoices to emailing, and now this is just the next step in your digitization journey. So as I mentioned, we have a few e-invoicing video on the website. We also have the e-invoicing ready product, all of this on the ATO website. And you can find out if your trading partners are in the e-invoicing network or not if you access this PEPAL directory, which is something that you can access online. And if you have any question, please feel free to send email to us, and we can actually answer any question. And just before I go, I just want to let you know that my colleague from the small business team is going to do a presentation as part of this Startup September, I believe on Tuesday next week, the 24th of September. So please come and listen to them, because they have the online course that you can actually enroll for free. where you can increase your knowledge about small business and anything to do with small business, including that taxation part of it. So that's all that I have for the presentation. If anybody have any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Yes.
Currently, I'm sending invoice using Mayobe, through email and then PDF and that's. So this e-invoicing, it's kind of, so how does it work? Like if the customer need email, is it through email as well? Or
No, it is not through email. So the key thing that you will have to have is you as the sender and your customer as the receiver need to have an e-invoicing ready product. So if you already use MIOB, MIOB is e-invoicing enabled. So all you need to do is to register with MIOB for e-invoicing. You will create the invoice like now, and then instead of at the end of the process, instead of press the button to say send as email, you just need to choose send as e-invoice. Now, if depending on what software that your customer actually has, if they have MIOB, then the process is the same. They just need to register, and then they will be able to receive it straight away into their software. So no email involved in this. The same with Xero. Xero is also e-invoicing ready.
Okay, sorry, you got a question, go ahead.
So it's actually PDF as well. It's invoice. What type of invoice?
No, there is no PDF. So when the invoice information actually sent across the network, it will be sent as a digital information. So at the other end, the accounting software of your customer will be able to see the invoice information.
Okay.
So when it goes across, does it have the ABN and all the required details automatically?
This is depend on your software. So you have to actually set up the ABN of your customer to be actually in the software. And then when you create your invoice, there is a section where you need to tell your accounting software where to send it to. So if you already have your client ABN actually in your software, then it is just a matter of pressing the button. So for details, please follow your software provider's instruction about e-invoicing.
The most important question for me is,
yeah,
the ATO have access to the client's e-invoicing system, because I occasionally have clients who have never lodged tax returns for 5 years.
Okay.
And that's the scenario. So wouldn't the ATO be able to access?
No, different. When you say e-invoicing system, the ATO does not have any infrastructure to actually see your invoice data. What you may be thinking is about your payroll or superannuation information. So if you're a business, there is no way the ATO will be able to see what you sell to your client, to your customer, until you report your BAS. So the BAS is online, you are correct. But when you sell, I'm just going to make an example. Say, let's say, for example, if you sell 10 red balloon, that information will not go to the ATO because this is between you and your client. But we will see how much that the GST in that red balloon when you report it to us in the business activity statement. So with this e-invoicing, the ATO is not actually intercepting your invoice data and then automatically going to be used as a compliance measure or as a pre-fill. So we cannot do that.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have any more questions, please feel free to tell Niall and Bernadette. and then they will be able to forward it to me, and I can answer that directly by email.
We'll be delighted to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, so back to our own screen. It's lovely to see that the ATO and as well ASIC are working on some new projects to make things like invoicing as secure as possible. We often occasionally hear from businesses who have been the subject of a scam, and it's pretty horrible to hear. So really great to see that they're doing some good work on that, but also there's lots that you can do in your own business. And I'm delighted to introduce Steve, who will be talking about exactly that. So better remember to share this. Well, Steve asked for lots and lots of slides.
As many as possible. Yeah.
Here they are.
That's it.
One slide. Steve, I'm just going to share this to the rest online, and then we'll.
Yeah, I didn't want to overdo it on the slides, so I just did one. Yeah, so I probably start with a little bit about me. I started my first business about 15 years ago. I started my second business about 12 months after that, after it failed. And I started my third business about 18 months after that, when that one failed. So a little bit of experience in how not to do business. Fortunately, it wasn't cyber breach that caused those businesses to fail. It was just bad business structure, it was bad financial management, it was bad choice of partners. It did everything wrong right at the beginning. So it's really quite. I just saw Ali on the way out before, and I said it's actually. There isn't, from what you've heard so far from Barbara and Ali, from Jimmy, there isn't one single piece of advice that I'll disagree with after 15 years of business. The importance of knowing your clients, knowing your systems, knowing your finance. Like you've got to know your finance inside out, because that's the end result. I'm really pleased to see so many questions about finance as well, because it's so critically important that you understand that well and the implications of it. Which kind of does lead on to exactly what cybersecurity, or what I want to talk about in terms of cybersecurity today. I only have 15 minutes to talk about something I could literally talk for 24 hours without stopping for food. So I'll try and be as concise as possible. A lot of cybersecurity presentations that you go to talk about, the $92 million that it costs business every year, and the hundreds of millions of dollars here and hundreds of millions of dollars there. But I want to talk about it in the context of your businesses. You're not going to lose $92 million. But if you lose $10,000 and that's 100% of your bank account, that's the same as losing $92 million. If that's what that person had in the bank and they've lost 100%, that's your business probably gone. And we've seen startup businesses that haven't been given a fair chance to succeed because they got beaten at one of the first hurdles of, if you start a business, you raise capital, you might have investors, you might not, you might be using your lifetime savings, you may remortgage your house, but some capital comes from somewhere and you can't afford to lose that capital. You can't afford to lose the money that starts going into your bank account when you do run a successful business. And all of these pointers about managing your finances, managing your marketing, managing your clients, all of that is about running a great business. And it all puts money in your cash in your bank account at the end. And we've been involved in it way too many times where that money is just taken by somebody else. Compared to being a kid, you save up for your bike, you earn pocket money, you do extra jobs, do all that sort of stuff, and then your bike gets stolen the following week. It's heartbreaking, and no one's going to give it back to you. So protecting the money in your bank, that is, you hear cash is king all the time. All this effort, all this heartache that you go through running a business, and now being some 15 years down the line with 35 staff, we can raise and fall as fast as anybody else. So what the value of your business is no different to the value of my business as a percentage of how much we earn and how quickly we can fail. So I should also tell you I'm on the board of the Business Enterprise Centre as well, and I have helped a number of startups over the years. And my sort of mantra when I'm helping small businesses, I just want to help you skip the first 5 years of mistakes. The first 5 years is where you learn the most. Some of the terms around the finance, particularly from Ali, if I'd understood profit and loss and balance sheets and age debtors and all these things right at the beginning, I probably would have done a lot better, a lot quicker. So look back over these slides, keep them, look back over them in 12 months' time and go, I now understand how important it was, what was being said to me on that day. There's a lot of information all at once, but it is critically important because it all points to the money in the bank, and that's what scammers are after. They might steal your data, they'll ransom you for that. They might just steal the money straight out of your bank account. They might cause so much distraction to your business and your clients that it does nothing but cost you money and heartache. And we've seen people cry, like grown men cry down the phone to me because I can give you countless examples. A plumber lost $73,000 thinking he was talking to the ATO. Now, actually, interesting. Can anyone tell me the purpose of cybersecurity? Like it seems obvious, but if you had to put it into words, why do we have cybersecurity? Can anyone actually put that into a short sentence?
Safety of your business.
It's safety of your business, which your business is there to create cash. Whether you're a community-led not-for-profit, whether you're a legal firm, whether you're an accounting firm, anything like that, you're there to make money one way or the other. You may not think you care about money, but you do need money. That's what you're here to do. What you're here to create. It's what gives you safety. It what's protection of staff. I have 30 staff at the moment. But we've got over 30 mortgages and rentals that are going to be paid and families are going to be fed. So the risk isn't just on me, it's on everybody that works in this business. So as your business grows, that risk becomes bigger, that loss becomes bigger. It affects a lot of people around you. If I had to summarize what cybersecurity is for, it has two purposes in business, in the context of small business. One is to stop people getting access to your money, stop them taking your money. The other one is to make sure that you have access in the future to other people's money. The business and trade is all about, I want your money in my bank account. Legitimately and genuinely, we deliver a service, you pay me the money. So I want money off everybody to go into my bank account and make my business successful. So your target clients, you want that money to come to you. When it gets to you, you've got to keep it safe. The reason that second one might not seem so obvious, the first one, I'll go into that in more detail, because what I'm not going to do today is tell you about all the great products that we can sell you. That's a one-on-one conversation. I've got business cards there. You're welcome to contact me after. The first part of cybersecurity is don't lose the money. Now, when you really think about what happens when you lose $10,000 or $70,000, so we've had people lose $200,000 all in one go, wiped out transaction account, liability account, overdraft, credit cards all in one go. Now that's crushing to a business. But when you think about who does that money belong to, it's in your account. But it'll be no surprise that the ATO probably owns about 50% of that while it sits in your account. You've still got to pay that ATO bill. If you start to phone the ATO, your accountant or yourself, you phone the ATO and you say, I lost it all in a scam, they'll say, geez, that's terrible. We feel really sorry for you. Would you like to go on a payment plan? If you earned the money, that's their money. It's in your account at the moment, but you've still got to pay them. And so they were very, very, very helpful to the best of their ability. And I have to say the ATO it pains me to say it, but they are very good at dealing with small business. They're very understanding. I've just purchased a business and we went to them in Alice Springs and we said, can we go on a payment plan in the first few months of next year? And they said, absolutely no problem. Just tell us the details and we'll do it. Unfortunately, we haven't had to, but they're open to those sorts of ideas. But they do want their money. Eventually, one way or another, you're going to pay that back. And when you have to pay that ATO bill, you say to yourself, I'm going to earn more money, I'm going to work harder, earn more money so I can pay that bill. You're paying tax on the money that you earn while you're working harder. So the harder you work, the more tax you owe. It's that net profit at the end of it that you've got to pay all that money back to the ATO. Net profit's really hard to get, and you need to earn as much as you can to survive. And now you find that you're taking all that net profit and you're paying a bill to somebody else took your money. Now that might be the ATO, it might be an investor. If anyone's fortunate enough to win $1 million through crop pitch, say win, be gifted, it's loaned. These are investors. If you get scammed and you lose all that money, they want their money back. If that's not, you don't just go, oh, sorry, I failed. It's you end up in court. So cybersecurity is about protecting your money and stopping people from getting access to your money. There's the obvious bit done.
So can I just ask you, is this protecting against the human element, or is it protecting against someone actually getting into your bank account?
So there's many components to cybersecurity, and it'll become a bit more clear a little bit further down. I'll tell you what the answer can be to all of this. But yes, human error is a massive part of it. These PDF invoices where people just open the invoice and go, we'll pay that bank account. And we've had it where it pops up and says, this bank account doesn't match what you paid before. And people still go, I'll change the bank account number then, still pay it. And they go pay this money to a bank account. They actually haven't checked to see who it is. And you just gave it away. No insurance company or ATO or anybody else is going to give that back to you. So your mistake. It was a scam, but it was your mistake. So human error, so human user training is a massive part of cybersecurity. That's where, I don't know the percentage exactly, but a lot of the cases that we deal with are preventable just by people need to slow down, stop and think. The bit about making sure that you have access to other people's money in their accounts in the future is that what we're seeing now is a huge sway towards compliance. And that is, if you don't secure your data and your money, or particularly data around personal data in particular, if you don't secure that and that gets out, you can be penalized for it. You'll also never be looked at by any of the big businesses you want to work for in the future. You're building a small business. As that business grows, you want to be able to work with the big providers. In law, you want to work with insurance companies. Well, they'll come along and say, well, if we're going to work with you, we're going to have to share our data with you. Now, we need to know, what are you doing with our data when it's in your custody? It needs to be kept safe. Now, until about, I'd say maybe 8 years ago, there was no real guidelines or standard or anything that each small business could realistically adhere to that would help them structure themselves for that. But now the Australian Signals Directorate has a division called the ACSC, the Australian Cyber Security Centre, and they published a model called the Essential 8. And you can just Google the Essential 8 and it will take you to a list of controls that can be implemented for your business. Now, I don't suggest that you need this right now. That's a fairly big task to implement and achieve that compliance. But if you want to start thinking about the big businesses you're going to work with in the future, you need to start not only being secure, so you financially get to the point of where you can work with those big businesses as your business grows, but you've got to be able to prove to other people that you're secure as well. So when you go and work with a business, you want to work with Northern Territory Government, they're going to come around and say, how do you secure your environment? So you want to work with our data that we protect, then you need to prove that you can do it too. And you can't just sit there and go, well, we will. Promise we will. They go, well, by what standard? So the Essential 8 is a really good way, just have a read through. But you don't need to do that yet. But have it on the horizon that you at some point will need to prove your security posture to a third party if you want to work with big business and government. And that's where you should be aiming, hopefully. It's to big business, big money. What you can do now as a small business is plan to have expenditure on cybersecurity. Microsoft Office, Essential 8 is basically based on the Microsoft Office model, sorry, Microsoft 365 model. So if you are using 365, you're probably 10% of the way there. And there are products and services that can come from providers like us, and there's plenty around town. And these products and services will protect you. There's AI-driven agents like Huntress. It's $7 a month per user. And you can be one user and use that. That's an AI-driven endpoint protection monitor that will look at your device for suspicious activity. So it is actually anti-malware, antivirus, all the usual traditional types of endpoint protection. But this one actually says this endpoint hasn't done this before, and all of a sudden it started doing something that it doesn't typically do. So as a precaution, we're just going to stop it doing that for now and raise an alert and say, you need to look at this. So we have a Huntress dashboard. When something happened with the client, this endpoint started running a PowerShell script. It's never done that before. We get an alert to say, it's not necessarily wrong, but it's not what it normally does. So it's that intelligent monitoring of an endpoint.
What's an endpoint?
Oh, sorry, a desktop, a laptop, anything that you can work on.
Mine or the other parties?
Yours. But security is about two ends. Everybody has to be secure. If I send you an invoice and it gets intercepted, you're going to get scammed because you pay the wrong account, and vice versa. If your mailbox is compromised, my invoice is going to get intercepted by someone, and vice versa. So security isn't just if you do it, everything's okay. And it also isn't if you bring all these technologies in. Probably I'm getting way up top. If you bring all these technologies in, that's not the only answer either. Knowing, and you have the advantage of as being a small business that you probably know your incomes and outgoings intimately. We're sending 500 invoices a month, I think, at the moment. So keeping track on what's right and what's wrong becomes much harder. Now, I hope you get to that level where you are sending 500 invoices a month. It's great, but it's a lot. A lot of things can go wrong. And so the main message you want to say is that without going too much into the detail of cybersecurity, everybody has heard about business email compromise, which sadly has the same acronym as the Business Enterprise Centre. I'm pretty sure you don't do it. You've heard about antivirus, anti-malware, all that sort of stuff. It's all the obvious things, but just being acutely aware of your business, right down to your CRM. If that gets compromised and that data gets changed, or Xero gets compromised and that data gets changed, all these things, these scams get so detailed in the way that they're impacting digital services. But by far, absolutely by far, the easiest target in a scam is a person. People give their money away. We still have cases where people are giving. They'll say, I got this phone call, I think it was from the ATO, they asked for my driver's license. Okay, did you give me your driver's license? Yes. Right. They asked for my bank account details. Okay, did you give the bank account details? Yeah. Okay, so at what point did you think about calling us or calling your accountant? And go, well, they asked for my passport and they started to ask me for my home bills, and you're just giving, you'd be suspicious. I got a phone call from Telstra just yesterday asking, telling me I was entitled to 50% off my Telstra bill for the next 6 months.
Did the number show up Telstra or just numbers?
No, again, it was just a Brisbane number.
Oh,
Yeah. So I kept him going as long as I could, because I thought, while he's talking to me, I know I'm not fall for it. It just saves somebody else or delays anything scam. IT engineers love messing around with people like that on the phone. We can keep them going for hours if we've got the time. So, but yeah, so cybersecurity is big, but as a small business, what we ask is, don't worry about the banks being compromised, the health services being compromised, Optus, all that sort of stuff. There's nothing you can do about that. What you can do is protect your cash in the bank, and don't pay invoices unless you're 110% sure that it's going to the right person. I actually do a full day cybersecurity training course. There's a few things we like to ask people, get people to ask themselves is, what's the worst that can happen? And if you receive an invoice on a Friday afternoon and you go, I just want to get this done so it's all done for the weekend and I can just don't have to do it Monday morning. You open, you go, it doesn't look quite right. I just want to get it done because I just want to crack that bottle of wine and the weekend begins. You pay that money to the wrong person, you have got a whole world of pain coming. You already had that suspicion that it wasn't right. And listening to that inner voice in your head goes, just wait. Think about it when you've got a clear head, when you're not in a rush. What's the worst that can happen of paying the invoice? You lose the money. You feel terrible about yourself, you will cry, depending on how much it is. What's the worst that can happen by not paying the invoice and it was a legitimate supplier? They're going to get in contact with you and they're going to say, you forgot to pay us. And okay, I was just checking.
We did a checklist. You go out and sign, prove it.
Yeah.
It's not a big checklist.
Absolutely. So my finance manager has a number of practices that she has to go through. If we receive a new supplier, we've had a few recently with Buying the Business. If you receive an invoice, you're not 100% sure, don't call the number on the invoice. It'll go to a voicemail that says, sorry, can't answer the phone, we'll get back to you. You leave a voicemail, you get a text message that says, sorry, I'm in a meeting, couldn't take your call, but yes, we did change our bank account details, or yes, that is correct, just that. You've just left a voicemail for the scammer. So Google the number or call a number that you already know, speak to somebody that you do know. What we did with one of them, we couldn't get in touch with this electrical firm in Alice Springs that was doing some cabling for us, just couldn't check. We wanted to pay the invoice, couldn't check with them. So we went to a company that we know that has used them for a long time and said, can we just check that this invoice, or this detail of this invoice matches what you normally pay? And they said, yes, it is. That matches the bank account. Okay, that seems legit then. That, we couldn't speak to the supplier, but we could speak to somebody that we already knew.
2 days ago, Microsoft being hacked. So someone attempted to log into our Microsoft account.
Yeah.
And then when we got the notification from the emails, and then we clicked the recent activity, and they are from Russia, Vietnam,
Yeah, she's really angry at the Russians. Yeah.
Like, are they out there?
Yeah. So that doesn't actually mean anything in a technical sense. Have you heard of VPNs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a VPN is effectively it's like a secure tunnel across the internet. So that person can be sat in the UK, and they can be connecting to a server in Russia, and then attacking from there. What you will see is that server in Russia attacked you. It's not necessarily a Russian person, so we shouldn't get angry at all of them. Just one.
The government, the Commonwealth, is forcing the banks to do some security.
Yep.
What are they trying to get the banks to do?
Oh, this is the very recent one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. They what they're trying to do is get the banks and payment platforms to be liable for lost income. Now, imagine trying to get money out of the bank in this situation. I think it's a fruitless task. What it's around is if you receive an invoice and you pay it incorrectly, that's on you. But the bank's not going to give you that money back. The case of the plumber who lost $73,000, he got a phone call that was supposedly ANZ. Now he was on the phone to them, and he said he was packing his ute because he had to pack a barge to go somewhere the following. So Sunday afternoon, he's running around in the dark, sweating his backside off, phone to his ear, trying to pile stuff on his ute, and it was ANZ saying your account's being targeted. So he straight away went, okay, what do you want me to do? And so he was panicked, he wasn't thinking straight, he was busy, and he said, what do I do? Right, go to your laptop, go to this address. And they said to him, what we're going to do is put money into your account. They put $20,000 into his account. Now, if that happens to anybody, wait for them to do that, unplug your laptop, throw it in the bin. You just got $20,000 to buy your laptop. What he thought, he goes, but they put $20,000 in my account. I saw it come in. I said, yeah, they're making $20 million a minute. $20,000 is nothing to these big scam, say, organizations, but groups. They're making money hand over fist. So this is a great trick. Yeah, we put money in your account. If you're switched on, you can make $20,000. They lose $20,000. They'll move on to the next victim.
Some on the internet, occasionally I've read that people have money in their account.
Yeah.
It's sitting there, but when they go to withdraw it, they can't. And then it's reversed.
Yes. So this is kind of along the line of the first question, or the last question you asked. So what the bank's talking about now is what happened with this plumber. Let me finish that and it will explain it. So they actually they said, right, this attacker hasn't looked at your account again. That honeypot that we left for them, they didn't come back. So they said, we put $20,000 to try and catch that attacker when we come for it. Didn't work because they were the attackers. So what they said was, right, we're just going to transfer that money back, but we can't let you see how it's done. So we're just going to make your screen go black. Just bear with us a second while we do this transaction, then it's all yours. Screen went black, phone was dead, and they were gone. And in that time, they'd taken all of his money. Now, what happened there was he lost a lot, but in the wash-up of all of that, ANZ gave him $20,000 back because they said that's the bank fraud that occurred. But ANZ didn't have to do that. That was, I think, trying to keep a happy customer. But that's what they're trying to get banks to do now, is take responsibility for bank accounts that are used to scam. So if we went to a bank now and said, look, one of our clients has been hacked, it was taken from a Commonwealth Bank and it went into a Commonwealth Bank account. Commonwealth Bank will go, but that somebody opened that account with 100 points of ID, just like anybody else, they're entitled to privacy just because you say you paid the money incorrectly. Doesn't waiver their right to privacy. So traditionally, banks and insurance companies will go, didn't do the necessary checks, you made a mistake. So that's what they're trying to change now, is to say, like if banks know that a bank account is being used fraudulently, then they have the power to stop it. And if there is a victim as a result of that fraudulent activity, then the bank needs to pay them back. So it's not an answer to all cybersecurity scams being paid back by a long shot. It is about protecting the innocent person with a bank account from losing a ton of money, and the banks don't care. So they're trying to make the banks care. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I've spoken for way longer than I think I was meant to, but I'll leave my cards if anyone wants to take them. Feel free. As a small business, to go back on track about a small business, we can implement things that will protect you. There's no guarantees in cybersecurity. Implement tools, services, You can have us on the phone, something does go wrong. One of the good exercises I like to get people to do is, apart from the what's the worst that can happen, the other one is what does that first hour look like when you've been scammed? Or what does that first day look like? You know, if we did this, did a presentation to AICD, Australian Institute of Company Directors, and said, if you get a text on your phone now saying, I think we've been scammed, how many of you would sit there and go, well, we've practiced for this. I feel pretty confident I'll let my team do the work. Or how many would actually look at it and go, oh, I've got to go. And into panic stations and that. And there's a few white faces there as well. Yeah, I said, yeah, we probably fall to pieces. And so right now at the starting point of your business, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen if I do or don't do this? And what does that first hour look like if I believe I've been scammed? If you look at your bank account and there's $0 in there, where do you go? What phone call do you make? So think about that, plan for that. I think that's the best thing you can do. But you've got to be prepared to invest money in cybersecurity, and it doesn't have to be much, but it will just give you that layer of protection. And have companies like us, even if you're not paying a monthly fee for service or anything like that, we'll be there. That if you phone us on Sunday night and say, I think I've been scammed, we'll go, no, we're here to help. So you've got to have good support around you, like good financial support, good CRM support, all that sort of stuff. If there's any more questions, I think it's
This scam can attack on the computer, or is that any computer can?
It can be any computer,
Yes,
or
yeah. Can be attacking the computer, or do you recommend any basic computer that can be used? No?
I would say, if you think that a scam comes from your computer, you need to rethink where the risk is. Somebody could attack my computer, wouldn't make any difference, because even if they logged into my computer, they still can't get past all of the facial recognition with MFA, with other checks, even if it's an SMS. If they got into my laptop, it probably would get a bit of information, but not much.
Yeah, because sometimes I see like a virus coming up.
Yes. Yeah. Viruses are nasty. Assume it's there. Get your machine rebuilt, but don't store data on it. Store your data in OneDrive. If you store it in OneDrive or Google Drive or anything like that, make sure it's backed up as well and not within Microsoft. So there's too much specifics for me to go into in the time I've gone way over. But they're the kind of things that we go into in detail. We look at how your business runs and what the best solutions for you. But just bear in mind that protect your cash is king. And and don't expect to get a Christmas card from the ATM businesses. Maybe paying them out of it.
There's some like Trend Micro. Yeah. Doesn't that protective? Give you some element of protect?
Sorry, I'm not trying to stop. Welcome back to the last one. Yes, it does, but it depends on what the threat is. So, Trend Micro is an antivirus product, and they've got a whole suite of products. There's email protection, like the endpoint protection, antivirus, and anti-malware. It's only as good as the latest update. So, people like Trend and Sophos and all these different antivirus providers. It's a catch-up game. There's threat actors out there that are trying to make these viruses all the time, coming up with new things, new exploits, and it's only when they're discovered, usually when it's already become a threat, that these people like Trend react to it. So it's a catch-up game. The IT industry gets blamed, saying, "Well, you make all the viruses, you charge us to fix it." But that's not true. But antivirus is generally a catch-up game because that threat comes out and it has to be resolved. You can't have the resolution to a threat before the threat itself. So yeah, it's a good product, but none of them are a guarantee. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Steve. Maybe we can organise another end user security awareness training sometime soon.
Bring lunch and dinner.
I accidentally got some slides in the wrong order. So Barbara had a section on marketing and marketing tools. I think we've run over a bit of time. It's up to you guys. Do you want us to hang on for another 10 minutes, or should we do a wee bonus video and send it out to you?
I can try and squeeze it in 10 minutes.
What do you think? It's up to you, because I know we've run over a bit of time. So
Squeeze
it in.
Squeeze it in for 10 minutes. I know
But also
You can watch if you can't hang around, you can watch it on video tomorrow anyway. But if you want to stick around, then we can do 10 more. Yeah. All right.
Mission's on, okay.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Right, it looks like I'm clicking again.
You want my clicker?
Thank you for helping. I appreciate it.
Oh.
I'm a single person helping out them bloody stairs, so thanks for that.
Oh,
I just saw them.
I know, so did I.
What? That's really weird.
I can share my screen and you can take control if you still don't have it.
I did see it somewhere. I did see it somewhere there.
Now there's Steve's.
Yes.
But I didn't talk over yours, did I?
No,
I know.
you stuck to that.
I swear I saw them.
Yeah. Oh, I opened the wrong one.
Yeah, yeah.
That one. Yeah, there we go.
Ah, sweet. All right.
Beautiful.
But I can't use that. You're my clicker. Okay. Time starts now. All right, you can move through the slides and show all of those images, and I will show you the map. So what this is this is your talking about the journey that your client goes through. This is really important for invoicing, CRMs, all of these things that we've been talking about tonight. So basically, this is the journey that the customer goes through. So down here, we've got the stuff that is a gift. And what that means is you get nothing in return for it, pretty much. So this is the stuff, everything else is where you're getting data back from your potential customer. But this stuff down here, down the bottom, is what you're giving away for free. So it is things like podcasts or blogs that are going out there. Yes, you get a little bit of data, Facebook groups. You're just creating you're giving away things for free and creating community. Then we have here what's called products for prospects. This is where you start to diagnose the problem. You're still not generating a lot of money here, but typically you're getting an exchange. That is, I will give you this thing if you give me your name, email address, and phone number. So it might be that you're doing a presentation. Hello, that's why we're here. We're looking to try and get the data from you as well. It can be ebooks. We talk about lead magnets. So that is something where you attract a customer. You're going to hand over some value in exchange for some data, or it can be something that's really cheap. Like here's a $20 course. Here's something free that you can do. It can be paid workshops and things where people pay to come and attend. But you're probably not going to make most of your income there. It's about giving a product to your prospects in order to build relationship and generate income. Then you're going to have your core product. So this is what it is for my business. There are lots of little low-end things that you could do if you're a retail store that brings customers in, little cheap little things they could buy. While they're there, they're going to buy something big, for example. There's lots of different ways that you can scale this up, but this is in relation to my business. So here's where I make my money because I've done all of this stuff down here. This is where I do coaching, I do custom in-house programs, and I do workplace relations. And then this is the big picture of where my business is going. So doing licensing agreements, associate memberships, and other big sale things. How I want you to think about this is if your customer at any point on this journey says, this is awesome, what else have you got? What else can I buy? What else is there? And you go, oh, okay, I could give you this. That's great. Here's my money. Great. What else have you got? So you want to be able to think, what is the next thing that your customer is going to, what's the next sell, basically? And that's really important when we're talking about the systems that you're going to be creating in your business. Thank you. Clifford. Just quickly, this again comes down to what Neil was talking about before. What is the systems and the protocols that come into play when you engage with people at those different levels? So, for example, if you engage with my lead magnet, which is a scorecard or a free webinar or ebooks, they're the lead magnets I have. It's going to trigger something else that's going to happen. A lot of this stuff is automated. So if you complete my scorecard, you're going to get a phone call from me. There's going to be a voice message on your phone. You're going to get a text message. You're going to get an email. And you're going to get probably a message in LinkedIn or Facebook from me as well. So I have systems in place to start that relationship with you once you've engaged with my content. And then I'm either going to try and get you into a paid event, coming to one of my workshops, one of my webinars, or I'm going to get you to book an appointment with me and we're going to start the relationship. So there's a whole heap of systems that go into play, all these processes that go into play once you engage somewhere on that scale with me. So basically you want to make sure in your marketing that you're feeding every layer of that model. You don't ever want to oversell and you want to try and educate and entertain your client as well. All right. So what's really important with marketing is that you're constantly refining your formula. It's all test and measure. It's all data. You need to know your numbers. You need to know what's working. You have to have a deep understanding of your audience. And people should know exactly what you do, not, I've got a general feel for what you do. They need to know exactly what it is that you sell and what it is that you do. Everything that you give away needs to be valuable because I can get the answers on the internet everywhere. So there's got to be value in what it is that you're giving. And a big value is relationship. Having that quality time with people is something that you can do. So as much as you can make it personalised, a phone call, an email, a voice message, a message on social media, you can make it feel really personalised, even though it's automated. There are ways of doing that. Okay, so this is what I really wanted to get to, which I think is important for you when you start to look at your assets in your business, whatever it is that you are selling, whatever it is that you're trying to promote. I'm just giving you some examples in terms of what I do. It's going to be different for you. So I've got a lead magnet, for example, I'm trying to promote. I've got a workshop. I've got a short course. You're going to have promotional resource you're trying to get out there. Could be a keynote presentation, an online course, whatever it is that you need to get out and promote in the marketplace. So do this exercise. Have an actual spreadsheet of what are all your assets. Some of them are free that you give away. Some of them are things that people are going to pay you money for. And then what are the different outlets that you have? So what do you do? Surveys? Do you do email newsletters? You got a social media strategy, a Facebook strategy? Do you go to the markets here, the Perak markets or Mindle markets? Do you go to networking events? Are you a member of any associations? And I want you to think about in each of those outlets, what are you promoting? What are you actually going to be selling? And so it could be just the lead magnet or it could be the lead magnet and the workshop. You can see here, I've ticked both of those. So in my email newsletter, I'm going to say, hey, try this free thing. Or if you want to get real value, pay some money and come to my workshop. Promoting both in that newsletter. The reason we do this is sometimes we actually forget to promote stuff. We've got asset there and we're going, are we actually advertising this anywhere? Are we actually promoting this? Where are you actually utilising all of those outlets to market what you're doing? So I'm just going to go through some checklist of assets to give you some ideas. I don't want you to be overwhelmed, but just some things to think about in all of the different outlets where you can market. So printed resources, business cards is a really obvious one, right? We all have business cards. It's probably the first thing that we do. If you produce workbooks or manuals or checklists or how-to sheets for anything in your business, that's an opportunity to be able to market to your customer again. Maybe it's a QR code, go and give us a Google review. There are so many different things where you're giving out information. That's another opportunity to promote something within your business. Postcards is a really interesting one. A lot of businesses do that now. You'll see some out here, different little cards and things out here. So I have postcards with a QR code where you can do a scorecard assessment, pull up banners. thank you cards, thank you for your service, thank you for visiting, and obviously branding on your clothing and on your vehicles. They're all kind of things that you print. So that could be a checklist. One, please. So with emails, we've talked about with your CRM, you want to be able to have segmented lists. You don't want to hit all of your customers with everything. You want to go, these people are interested in this thing and these people are interested in this thing. Otherwise, they're going to unsubscribe. So segmented lists are really powerful, and the best marketers are really good at segmenting their lists and knowing what to send to who and building a beautiful relationship. Newsletters, email newsletters is what most people do. Templates, you're going to want to build some templates for your emails. So what does your follow-up email look like? What does your reminders look like? What are the next steps that your customer takes? What do they need to do for booking an appointment with you? What happens after the sale? What happens when you want them to give you a review for your service or whatever has happened with your business? So you want to develop those templates to be able to utilize. Doesn't matter if you're a one-person business or a 10-person business, you want the messaging to be consistent and not make mistakes in it, and utilize that. Click, please. So here's a bit of a checklist of things that you can do in social media. So if you came to the social media the other night, Larissa was talking about making really good use of events on Facebook, but you can also do it on LinkedIn, and you can collect data. There's ways you can collect data through that. Some people like to do groups on Facebook and LinkedIn. Personally, I think it's a bit dead. It's a bit old now. Making sure you're sharing your blog. We do these blogs on our website and then no one ever sees it. So we want to have a strategy of sharing that through social media, sharing your testimonials and reviews. You want other people to speak for how amazing your business is. So do you have a strategy in place? Have you got something in place to be able to do this? Short form content is just like little posts of value that you can give to people. Video shorts is what Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, Stories and Reels. YouTube now has video shorts as well. They're a trending medium to be able to market. Hashtag libraries. Hashtags are really important for Instagram, TikTok and LinkedIn. So you want to have a library of hashtags you want to be able to use. So you can see this is all asset and lists of things that you want to create in your marketing. And this is one that can be useful for a lot of businesses that people don't do. If you're doing a workshop, you want to have a schedule to the lead up of promoting that workshop. If you want to market for Valentine's Day or holiday specials or whatever it is, you want to have a schedule where you're going to roll out some information to people through social media in the lead up to that particular thing. Going very quickly through this. This is an untapped gem. We get hundreds of emails, don't even read them. How often do you get a letter? How often do you get a love letter from a potential business that you're going to do business with? And I would encourage you to start thinking about it. If you actually send something to someone in the mail, I've built beautiful relationships with people because I've sent them a birthday card. Or I've sent them a present in the mail saying, thank you for that referral. Thank you for that beautiful customer referral. So snail mail is something that no one gets anymore. That can be your point of difference in business. Email, everybody does it. You still want to do it though. Christmas cards, another way that you can engage with people. And like I said, thanks for the referral. Okay, so you want to think about where are you broadcasting your message. So this is, remember that escalation model? That's the free stuff, the gifts that you're giving people. Newsletters can go out by email, or LinkedIn is another really popular thing at the moment. Newsletters are doing really well. A blog, really important for SEO. A podcast maybe. Doing little video blogs. So Larissa talked about that, going live on your social media. Doing live interviews with other people in your sector or your customers or your clients, attending different speaking events. people don't realise how powerful press release and media can be as well. There's a great tool called Source Bottle, SOURCE, as in the source. Source Bottle is free. You get bombarded with emails that are media call-outs. So that's the media going, we want somebody in cybersecurity to speak on cybersecurity in the territory. There he is. And so you could respond to those call-outs, or you can do a press release and create your own story. So I'm doing really well smashing through this. This is real-time demonstration of, this is a template that I've created that I do over and over and over to get these things out. So I create a system where I've got it timed so that it will go out at particular times, and I'm ticking off all those things in my checklist. So I'm going to go live on social media. I'm going to download that video, and then what I'm also going to do is create some graphics, because I'm going to turn that video into a written blog. I complete a form for my assistant to help me create this content, and I'm answering all the questions for them. The video gets edited with a lovely intro and outro. It also gets, the audio gets turned into a podcast. So you can see I've gone live. Then I'm going to make a written blog. Then I'm going to have video content. Then it's going to become a podcast. We're going to share the podcast through social media. We're going to use tools to transcribe the video into a long form for the blog. Then my assistant drafts the blog. Then we're going to create 2 or 3 memes, which are little visuals that are quotes from the blog. I'm going to skip that one. That won't make sense to you. Then we're going to schedule those memes through Instagram, Facebook, and all those different places. We're going to use Shorby, which is like Linktree, which is where people can access things really quickly. I'm going to put the video onto YouTube. I'm going to share it in other social media places and tag people that have said that they're interested in that content. And then I'm going to make sure that the blog gets added to my next email campaign. So I have a lot of stuff there, right? But I'm ticking all of those different things simply by creating one video up there and repurposing it and making sure that it can land across all those different checklists that I've got. And lastly, this is just to demonstrate to you that we want to create consistency. So in my system, I go, okay, every couple of weeks, I want to have some blog content going out. So this is my project management system, and I can just expand that little cross. That list of things to do is collapsed under every one of those. So I've got a massive task list, but it's all date orientated and going, this week you're going to do this. This week you're going to do this. You can see down here, I don't have a title yet, and these dates haven't occurred yet. So I'm plotting out when I'm planning on going live, doing that recording, and get the wheel in motion to make sure that I'm hitting those checklists of things that I want to be doing. I think that's the last slide, isn't it?
It will be. Thank you very much, Barbara.
Yes. And everybody wants to ask any questions quickly. I do.
So remember, through digital solutions, that free access that you can get some one-on-one time with people like Barbara, like Steve, or his team, like Ali. So make sure you use that QR code and sign up for it. Don't miss the next one. It's about financing your business, how to get grants, how to get finance, how to manage that finance, and other business support. So it's going to be a great one on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.